weird game with the injury. I think they kind of got out of their rhythm in the second half. I was this week, obviously. Blake Bortles is the key. I mean, if he plays, I'm not saying he has to play to the level of the Patriot game, but if he plays at 80 to 90% of that level, I think this is the best team in all of football when he plays it. Even
is it more today, or is it more?
I think you have to.
You can't. I mean, you can in certain personnel groupings.
Here's what they're going to do.
But you can't do it if there's Taywan Taylor and run game.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than Pat.
If it's going to be 12 personnel, they'll be in it. 21, they still might go to another direction.
Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman, have a great call. We'll look for your writing later, John.
I can't be great?
You were great.
Probably not.
Really right well today.
Just get by.
Probably not.
Work coverage begins in just a moment. We're an hour away from Week 3, the Titans and the Jaguars on Jaguars Radio.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here for the best barbecue in town. That is Bono's. Head to Bono's today. 15 locations on the First Coast and 6 more at TIAA Bank. You see, Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You want great barbecue, you want Bono's. Plenty of parking, clean family restaurants, and oh, by the way, the best barbecue you have ever had. So if you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today, the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Did you hear? The last 2 years, the Jaguars returned a punt for a touchdown, earning local families $100,000 towards a Dreamfinders home. Lauren Brooks letting you know that could be you this season. Visit any Dreamfinders Homes model and register to win the Take It to the House promotion for your chance at scoring $100,000 towards your Dreamfinders home. Dreamfinders Homes, homes built to fit your lifestyle.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Jaguars fans, your favorite bag boys are back in town. Don't miss out on loads of fun when Jaguars players make an appearance at Publix on October 2nd to help bag your groceries on behalf of Tide. The Jaguars know even amateur level athletes get a professional level stink, so they want you to use Tide Pods after your big game. Come out to the Publix in the Nocatee Town Center in Ponte Vedra on October 2nd and purchase Tide Pods to receive a Jaguars reusable grocery bag and meet some Jaguars players.
Hi, this is Tony Baselli. It's no secret that I love the sandwiches at Daly's Dash. But there's one sandwich that stands above the rest of them, and it keeps me coming back over and over again. It's called the Boss. They pile that bad boy with lots of roast beef, Munster cheese, mushrooms, and dash sauce. Which, as much as I travel during football season, this sandwich is one more thing that makes me eager to get back to Jacksonville. I could eat the Boss every day. Daly's, a local Jacksonville company. It's nicer here.
Your defending AFC South champs are committed to playing at the top of their game. And at TIAA Bank, we're ready to get your money in top form. By opening a yield pledge checking or money market account, you'll be able to unlock some of the most competitive rates in the country. Visit a financial center near you or find us online at TIAABank.com/Jags. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That ball is caught by Keelan Cole. What a catch. He brought it in with one hand along the far sideline. A one-handed catch to the 46-yard line and a first down.
Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. In the next hour, we'll bring you everything you need to know about today's game and the latest news from around the NFL. You'll hear from Jaguars great Fred Taylor, Pete Prisco, and Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone. Countdown to Kickoff is brought to you by Baptist Health, Farah and Farah, Geico, Ticket Exchange, and by TIAA Bank. Let's get the countdown started. Here are Mike Dempsey and JP Shadrick.
It's week 3 in the National Football League, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the midst of a 3-game September homestand. The Tennessee Titans at 1-1 face the 2-0 Jacksonville Jaguars as AFC South play gets underway. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. Today's game presented by Universal Orlando Resort. Amazing theme parks. The most off. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. Undefeated Jaguars team at home in September. Division play starting against a team together today. Oh yeah, and probably Blaine Gabbert on the other side.
Any one of half dozen reasons to be up for this game, but certainly the divisional aspect of it, JP. But not only did the Titans beat them twice last year, they talked and acted like they thought they were the division champions. Jarrell Casey leading the charge there. These guys internalize that stuff. They can talk all they like about how we don't look at the past. A few of them admit that they absolutely look at the past. I have a feeling that the vast majority of the 53-man roster is well aware of what's gone down. So as Dante Fowler Jr. told us earlier this morning, it's the biggest rivalry, still the best rivalry that the Jags have had since his time in the National League, and I expect that to continue today.
It's a warm one, a mid to high 80s today at the kickoff time, an hour from right now. Not as hot as last week, mind you.
Plenty hot.
It's still warm enough in TIAA Bank Field, so hydrate properly today, will you?
Me or just
you?
People in the audience?
You.
It's the home field advantage for this football team. I prefer – look, it happened to be the hottest temperature at kickoff last week. I still prefer those 1 o'clock kicks because you get that mid-afternoon heat, which I think is the worst on the opponent coming from a cooler climate. It's not like Nashville is up in the it's not up in Manitoba or something
it's
here.
Warm.
It gets pretty warm in Tennessee as well, so we'll see if it's a factor at all today.
Let's get to today's top stories. Divisional play is here for head coach Doug Marrone. It's been easy to get the team focused this week, even after that big win over New England.
Divisional opponent early in the season, things of that nature, all those things I think contribute to it. And obviously that's what it is. I think right now, we had a home opener on the road in New York, tough physical game. We had a home opener here, at New England, which is a tough physical game. We know we're going to get into a tough physical game with our division opponents. So I think for us right now, we're trying to make sure that, we manage this schedule and we get ourselves back, like kind of, banged up a little bit.
Yeah, then it shows on the inactives today. Doug was worried today, and it's what happens in the NFL. A few weeks in, some of these bumps and bruises become a little more than that. And that was a concern for this head coach.
Well, it's the biggest equalizer that there is in the National Football League. I mean, if the Jaguars are healthy like they were last year, and that was unrealistic to think that they could have that same kind of run of success, they were just, on the far end of the spectrum as far as health goes in a positive way. You don't know where the injuries are going to come. If they hit one position group particularly hard, like they've done with the Tennessee Titans at offensive tackle, you can really struggle for a while. So for now, I think they've, if they're getting guys back in a timely fashion, Leonard Fournette hopefully soon, DJ Hayden, not an extended absence, same for A.J. Cann. I think they can get through it, JP, but you start to get to a point where you're into a bit of a war of attrition with your own roster, and that's a challenge for every coach in the National Football League. No matter how much talent you have, if it's in the locker room, it's not going to help you on Sunday.
Leonard Fournette inactive for this game today on offense for the Jags. It had a different feel last week without him. Blake Bortles had a big game. Fournette was not available against the Patriots, of course. For Bortles, how the offense is built changes a little bit depending on 27's availability.
I don't know if you can say it's because Leonard's not out there. We've had big games throwing the ball when Leonard's been in there. I think there's definitely a little bit more of an emphasis on throwing the ball when Leonard's not in there. We can't do some of the stuff that our offense is built around doing when he's healthy and in there. Kind of with some of our other backs, they maybe do things better, differently rather than some downhill things and some of the runs that Leonard, is really good at. But I think more it's guys just, stepping up and wanting to kind of pick up the slack, for not having Leonard out there.
We really challenged them, big time. And it was more because of what happened in the past. It was a little bit because they're the best team, in my opinion, probably the best team in the NFL, one of them. So it was one of those things. We challenged all the guys early in the week and say, hey, look, this is, they're going to cause a lot of one-on-ones. And so everybody's going to have their own one-on-one battle. And I think that game, our guys won a lot of one-on-one battles. And I think that's what ended up showing on the stat board.
Couple things here. We all know by now the stats when Leonard Fournette is inactive. The Jags are 4-0, 3 times last year, and then again last week. Blake Bortles' numbers are fantastic. His rating is high. The Jaguars actually, on average, rush for more yards in those games than they do with Leonard available, which is an odd statistical thing there. But the feel last week, you hear Nathaniel Hackett talk there, it clicked. Everything's working. Guys are challenged, and they have to do different things offensively.
Oh, I think part of it goes back to the fact that they played this team in January, and they did have a lot early, and then they chose not to let Blake Bortles loose late in the first half with a chance to maybe add to their lead. They sat on the football late in the game. They decided we're going to run it, we're going to be conservative, and they saw what happened. They allowed New England to come back lesson from that game and Philadelphia Eagles approach in the Super Bowl a couple of weeks later where they attacked no matter what the score, no matter what the point in the game, and that's the way this team played last week. They said, you know what, we are better. We think we can execute with our personnel, and we're not going to give them a chance to get back in this football game. We're going to keep our foot on the accelerator.
The other side, the story this week, the quarterback, Marcus Mariota or Blaine Gabbert, reports today that it would be Blaine Gabbert. But for linebacker Talvin Smith, doesn't matter.
Put him on the field. We got something to. I keep not wanting to dig back in the old bag, but hey, and it's tough because I went out that game last year against Arizona and Gabbert lit up the field. So I ain't forgotten.
Case in point, there's a guy. They're well aware of all this stuff. We don't look back, and it's all about looking ahead. They're human beings, and they want to get Blaine Gabbert. And I think Blaine probably let him know about it. From what I hear, he was quite on the field as the Arizona Cardinals beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's understandable, right? If you put yourself in his shoes, doesn't make it any more palatable. And I think Telvin, I think, caught himself. He almost said, "Oh, we got something for him," right? And they just said, we'll see, kind of. I think they're really they're hyped up for this game. I really do internally for a number of reasons, Blaine just being one of them.
Yeah, and remember last year, Gabbert did throw a pick and lost a fumble that was returned for the touchdown by Calais Campbell in that football game.
That's right.
And there was a lot that happened late in the game, and the Jags had a chance. And
get away crafty these days. Right, for anybody who missed that one last year. One forward pass that you're allowed on the play. He claims then he threw it out of bounds left-handed to just take a penalty and preserve some field position. Others might suggest he did it to avoid contact because he was going to get a pretty big. Nevertheless, quarterback these days.
Physical football game on the menu today. That's been the talk this week. It's always a battle when these two teams get together, especially up front in the trenches. Real physical game. All the guys in the locker room talking about that this week. Even on the outside, though, with cornerback Jalen Ramsey.
It's probably realistic. They're a very physical team, but we are too. They had our number last year for sure, but we don't try to live in the past. We're not going to continue to talk about that. That's not something that we're using as motivation, I would say. I mean, we're pretty self-motivated. We motivate each other internally. And it's a game that we do feel we have to go out there and be physical. You take it to them. And
Jalen was on the injury report this week with an ankle issue, popped up on Friday, but he is good to go for today's game. That's good news. So there you have it, the top stories for today's matchup, the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Up next on Countdown to Kickoff, a look around the National Football League as we head into Week 3. Also still to come, Pete Prisco, Fred Taylor, and the final word with head coach Doug Marrone. The Titans and the Jaguars tee it up at 1 o'clock. And from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, this is Jaguars Radio.
Discover a few reasons to get into a Ford SUV. SUV season, like the available Enhanced Active Park Assist in Ford Edge, or Escape with available cross-traffic alert, and carry up to 7 people in the spacious Explorer. Don't miss big savings on a new SUV. It's SUV season, going on now at your local Ford dealer. Driver assist features are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and need to control the vehicle. Sales claim based on 2017 calendar year sales.
This is Josh Lambo of the Jacksonville Jaguars alongside my dogs Lana and Wyatt. It's hard saying goodbye to these two on game day, but that all changed this year with the NFL's first ever in-stadium dog park thanks to our partnership with Pet Paradise. Are you ready to bring your furry friend to the stadium? Enter the Pet Paradise Top Dog Sweepstakes. Each week, 10 lucky winners will receive 2 game tickets, a parking pass, and the chance to bring your dog to Pet Paradise Park at TIAA Bank Field. Visit jaguars.com/petparadise and enter today.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. When I got into this business, I used to make flavored vodka infusions for my friends as gifts. When I started to make a go of it, the owner of a local liquor store showed me the dust on some flavored vodka bottles that sat on the shelves. He said, if you can make a straight vodka so smooth that you drink it just by itself, then you'd really have to come.
This is Lori Fournette, mother of Jacksonville Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. My son is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. As a busy mom, I'm always looking for easy ways to save time. Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted variety of Old Spice Red, Wild, or Fresh deodorant is on sale for $3.99.
Available at Publix where shopping is a pleasure.
Countdown to kickoff continues. Titans, Jaguars at 1 o'clock in NFL Week 3. JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the HananiahAutos.com studio at TIAA Bank Field. Today's game presented by Universal Orlando Resort. Around the NFL we go. It's Week 3, and the Browns finally got a dub for the first time in a long time this week.
First time since 2016, their second win since 2015. They unlocked the beverage coolers that were all around the city of
nice
Cleveland.
Cold,
and
crisp Bud Light
for
everybody.
They did enjoy that. Well, I don't know how much they enjoyed it, but they certainly had that. Baker Mayfield came off the bench in a while over the New York Jets. Browns head coach Hugh Jackson is delaying officially announcing his Week 4 starting quarterback until tomorrow. Shock of shocks, it's going to be Baker Mayfield. Okay? There's no question it's going to be Baker Mayfield. I don't know why teams play these games. We want to go back and evaluate the film. What's there to evaluate? Tyrod, not very good. Baker Mayfield, very good. Brought him back. You got the number 1 pick invested in. The players responded to him as well. Expect the Baker Mayfield era to officially commence with his first start in Week 4. A bunch of starting running backs are out this week, including our own Leonard Fournette. Eldon will get the start here in Jacksonville. A week to heal. The Vikings without Dalvin Cook. He's dealing with his own hamstring issues. He said he was fine after the game, said it was cramping, but didn't practice this week. They do have a Thursday night game as well. He's coming off a torn ACL, so it makes some sense that they don't want to give him, a couple of games in 4 days, so they're going to hold him back in this one against Buffalo, and Latavius Murray gets the start. Corey Clement in for Jay Ajayi in Philadelphia. Ajayi out with a back injury. It'll be Tevin Coleman for Devonta Freeman in Atlanta as Freeman misses his second straight game for the Falcons with knee trouble. Joe Mixon not suiting up for the Bengals. Only 2 active running backs on roster today. Gio Bernard should get a heavy workload, and the rookie Mark Walton will be his backup there. Marlon Mack out once again for the Indianapolis Colts. Multiple ailments, a backfield split likely between rookies Jordan Wilkins and Naheem Hines today. We mentioned the Colts in that run there with Marlon Mack, while the Jags and Titans meet in a matchup of AFC South foes. Indy is in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. It's the return of Wentz. New York Giants, so time for the Giants to get on the board with a W.
And if all goes well today, the Jags would have a 2-game lead in the division.
Right, if the Jags take care of business and Philly beats Indy, they've got at least a 2-game lead in the division on every team and possibly 3 on the Houston Texans.
Wow.
The Giants have benched Eric Flowers, their right tackle. He was starting for a reason, I presume, right? So is the guy coming in going to be any better as he faces J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless? I guess we'll find out.
Maybe the guy that fills in today won't be tripping players.
Maybe he won't.
Flowers
right. It may be addition by subtraction as far as the Giants O-line goes.
There's your look around the National Football League. We'll come back. Mike's weekly visit with CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco, and a little later, Fred Taylor. And head coach Doug Marrone will have the final word with the head coach each and every week. We'll go to the guys in the booth as well. Titans, Jaguars at 1 o'clock.
This is Clark Judge of the Talk of Fame Network with news you should know this NFL season. FanDuel now has more ways to win than ever. Like introducing a new tool called Guru to help you pick lineups and feel confident heading into game day. Just start by picking a player, then let Guru do the rest. So for instance, if you pick a certain quarterback, Guru uses tested DFS strategies to pair the best wide receivers and tight ends with him. Sound easy? Well, it is. Plus, when you make your first deposit, FanDuel gives you a $20 bonus. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Clark. and you can thank me later.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 27 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
This season, it could be you that takes the field through the TIAA Bank Take the Field sweepstakes. For each home game, one lucky fan will win 2 club tickets and pregame sideline access to be on the field as the Jaguars are introduced. To enter and for official rules, go to TIAABank.com/takethefield today. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Void where prohibited. Entry period from 8/6/2018 to 12/5/2018. For official rules and complete details, visit TIAABank.com/takethefield. Sponsor TIAA Bank, a division of TIAA FSB.
You say there's nothing quite like the feel of the open road when you ride a motorcycle. You know it takes concentration, knowledge, and skills beyond those required to drive a car. Ride Smart Florida would like to take this opportunity to remind you to enjoy the road, but to always ride smart. SMART. Say no to drinking and riding. Make yourself more visible to motorists. Always wear your helmet. Ride in control. Train regularly and get endorsed. Visit ridesmartflorida.com for more details. Do you ride smart? This message provided by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Continue to count down to kickoff here, getting ready for the Jaguars' divisional home opener this season against the Tennessee. Last year, Mike Dempsey here, joined now by the senior NFL writer from CBS Sports, Mr. Pete Prisco. Hello, Pete. How are you?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
Boy, it's been a fun week. You know, Jags coming off a big home win, great atmosphere last week. Was that the best performance you've seen from Blake Bortles in a Jaguar uniform?
Well, it ranks right up there. So, it's hard to say it's the best, but yeah, I mean, you could easily say it is, but there's other games where he's looked very good in my mind. But that was fantastic in the moment because it was such a big game against a team that defeated them in the championship game, and he made all the right throws and stood in the pocket. And when he had to run, he ran. But I love the fact that he stood there, moved his head from left to right, waited for the crossers, was very patient, didn't have a lot of pressure. And was outstanding. You got to give him a lot of credit. Look, I've defended the guy in the past, and people beat me up for it, but I think he's significantly better than he gets credit for.
Well, you're certainly defending this team nationally this week as they ascended to number 1 in your CBS Sports Power Rankings. Tell me why they're the most deserving team of that spot.
Well, I think they're the most well-rounded team in the league, and people point to the Rams, and the Rams can do it on offense, and their defense is good too, but they haven't been tested. They played the Raiders and the Cardinals. This team went on the road in the opener and won a game, and granted the Giants aren't good, but you went on the road in the opener, it's tough, and then just physically in every way, shape, or form dominated the Patriots. So from that standpoint, that's why they're number 1. I think their defense is fantastic, and if they get anything close to this type of offense the rest of the way, they will be the Super Bowl team I thought they would be.
Here's the question, Pete, with this offense. Can they integrate Leonard Fournette into the style of offense they ran? Should they do that? Instead of being, 3 yards at a clip, let's really establish that physical presence, I thought they kept New England off balance. Can they integrate Fournette into more of a wide-open type concept? Should they be trying to do that?
Yes, they should. And I've been preaching that for a long time. I think Bortles is a different guy when he gets to play dictating tempo instead of rather than having it dictated to him. When you put him in 3rd and long, he's not, and most quarterbacks aren't, but I think with their ability to spread out and get the ball out of his hands and create some mismatches wide and get Grant in the passing game, I do think that will help. And then if you want to run it with the lead, you pound the big guy, and that's why you have him there. That's why you went out and signed Andrew Norwell. You want to be able to pound him when you have the lead. But to get the lead, they need to continue to open things up a little bit.
Pete Prisco with us from CBS Sports as we count down to kickoff with Jaguars Titans coming up at the top of the hour. Pete, Josh Wells off the bench I thought did an admirable job for Cam Robinson, but there's a reason Cam was the starter. What do you expect from Wells the rest of the way?
Well, I didn't think he was very good in the preseason, but he held up last week, which, and granted, they had injuries on that defensive line, which, made it a little easier for him, but they're going to have to help him a little bit. I'm out there on an island, play in and play out, so they'll probably have to help him, slide protection that way, maybe use the tight end, which could impact the passing game a little bit. But, I was encouraged. Cam Robinson wasn't exactly lighting it up either, so I do think that he can step in there and be adequate enough and not become a major liability at left tackle.
All right, Pete, early season now, I know we're only 2 games in. Is there a player that has stood out to you that maybe you didn't expect to be as good as they've been through 2 weeks?
Ronnie Harrison. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think the way they use him and get him on the field, and he plays like the extra linebacker, the buck linebacker position, and can do a lot of different things. My question with him coming in, I always thought he'd be good against the run, and he's been much better against the pass than I expected. So of all the guys on this team, it's definitely Ronnie Harrison.
Yeah, made a nice impact last week, to be sure. Pete, you look at the schedule, big home opener. Sometimes you might think emotional letdown. Any issue this week with Tennessee coming in should have Jacksonville's full attention as they swept the Jaguars last year. What is it about the Titans that allow them to match up so well with this football team?
Well, I think they're physical too. I mean, when you big bully and you're physical and you want to hit people, the best way to go after them is to hit them back, and that's what I think the Titans have done to them. I want to put a little asterisk on week 17. I mean, the Jaguars had clinched the division. The game didn't mean anything to them, so you got to kind of look at it from that standpoint too. But look, the Titans are a physical team. They when they have all their players and particularly their offensive linemen, they want to pound you and then get Mariota or whoever's playing quarterback outside and throw the football. So I do believe that's the reason they've had success against them. But this keeps them focused. Sometimes after a big win, you play another team, you might not be as focused, particularly at home. I think this keeps Jacksonville focused.
I'm with you on that one. And your prediction: do the Jags get to 3-0, and if so, by what margin?
Yes, they get to 3-0, and they'll win. I think by 10 points. I think they're going to handle this game. They're better. Titans haven't exactly been great so far. I do think the defense will have a big day, and then they're going to get to 4-0, Mike, and then they got a big one in a couple weeks against the Chiefs.
No doubt, that's going to be one of the premier games in the National Football League for the first part of the season. We'll wait till we get there. Hopefully they will be 4-0 and have that opportunity. All right, Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior NFL writer. Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
You got it, Mike. Take care.
All right, buddy. There he goes, Pete Prisco. But don't go anywhere. Coming up next, as we count down to kickoff, visit to the booth, Frank Frangie, Jeff and Tony Baselli standing by. This is Jaguars Radio.
Jaguars fans, Ashley Home Store is where you'll find the perfect Tempur-Pedic mattress to power your life. As the #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer in America and the official furniture and mattress store of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Ashley Home Store offers Jaguars fans special pricing and 72 months no-interest financing. Just tell them the Jaguars sent you. Plus, a portion of every mattress sold helps provide free beds to local children in need. Shop for Tempur-Pedic at Ashley Home Store today and go Jaguars. Subject to credit approval. See store for details.
Jaguars fans, your favorite bag boys are back in town. Don't miss out on loads of fun when Jaguars players make an appearance at Publix on October 2nd to help bag your groceries on behalf of Tide. The Jaguars know even amateur